Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I switched up what I was going to talk about this evening because I thought it was interesting to speak on this other subject that I today. Ran into today, which is the wildest subject I had ever really thought about. Never really thought about it. You know how you never think about things until somebody puts it in perspective for you as to what the hell is going on and what danger a person might be in? Look at this post. Look at this post. This post says, I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden autopen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country and a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country and in all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens. This in and of itself was not a bad thing. It was not a bad thing when we read this, right? This was not a bad thing when we read it. But then you go over to social media, the X. If you're a person that goes to the X, what they wrote right here. Look what our Homeland Security wrote. Our Homeland Security. The stakes have never been higher, and the goal has never been more clear. Remigration now. Do you all know what remigration is? What does remigration mean? And people think, oh, okay, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Yes, it is a big deal. It's a very big deal. Specifically when someone says remigration. Now, when they say remigration, what do they mean? Remigration is a European far-right concept of ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation of non-white minority populations, especially immigrants and sometimes included those born in Europe, born in the country and holding citizenship to their place of racial ancestry. So that basically is saying you're going to get rid of, or the Homeland Security went further, our Homeland Security went further and said, you're about to start a remigration process, a mass deportation of non-white minority populations, a far-right concept of ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation. You just saw that tweet by Homeland Security saying, let remigration start. So I'm taking that to mean that you're going to start deporting people or taking away citizenship from some people who already have citizenship, who already are here. I will permanently pause migration from the third world country. I will permanently pause. So these goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations. What the hell is going on? I don't know about nobody else, but what the hell is going on? That we got this language. Now we got this language, this rhetoric of getting rid of people. Sit with this for a second. Trump is talking about taking away citizenship for naturalized citizens who, by some totally arbitrary definition, undermine domestic tranquility. Who knows what the hell that means? So a naturalized parent or spouse of a U.S. born citizen who is critical of Trump could be threatened to be put out of the United States. Listen to what the hell is going on. Listen to what the hell they are trying to do. So I said, okay, cool. This is that radical right I was talking about earlier. The radical right, the radical agenda that this president is starting to enact. Now, people keep saying, hold on. People say, oh, well, he didn't say remigration. He didn't say remigration. But Donald Trump did say to the lead up to the following in 2024 U.S. presidential election, yes, he did say publicly, and he used the word remigration publicly. According to the description, he pledged to deport illegal immigrants and return to their countries and suspend refugee settlements. Specifically, he is talking about the Somalian people, probably talking about the Dearborn people. The State Department proposed creating a dedicated office of remigration as a part of the sweeping reorganization of the bureau that previously handled refugees and immigration. They would repatriate, tracking, and facilitate the return of immigrants to their countries of origin. Also, that post we just saw from the DHS responded to the message by Trump calling for reverse migration by posting the word remigrate. I don't know whether these people understand exactly what they're asking for, but they're saying they want to get rid of people and they don't care whether you're a citizen or not. They're going to try to repatriate you, re-immigrate you into whatever country you came from. If you weren't born, even if you're born here, it's a matter of even if you're born here. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Remigration used to have a neutral meaning. It used to be a neutral term, meaning when a migrant moved back to their own home country. But in the modern political language, especially among the far-right radicals, and this administration and this president are far-right radicals. This is a far-right radical administration. Far-right is become a euphemism for mass deportation or forced expulsion or ethnic cleansing of immigrants and their descendants, often based on the race, ethnicity, and cultural background. Okay? And because it's been such a kick up and a fuss up about the fucking great replacement theory that people used to push or people used to talk about, that claims that immigration and demographic change are threatening the cultural ethnic identity of the white people of this country. So therefore, they can see what's going on. They can see that they're becoming a minority. White people can see that. This is the way, this is the pathway. And people are saying, yay! Let's get rid of all the people that ain't white. Our president just said, let's get rid of all of the people that are not white by calling for remigration in that True Social post. And DHS, they just followed his example and his lead by saying, let the remigration begin. Okay? Let the remigration begin. Okay? Department of Homeland Security said this wild shit. Hold on. Let me show it to you again. Let me show it to you again so you'll understand. Homeland Security said this. The stakes have never been higher and the goal has never been more clear. Remigration now. Remigration. Remigration. This is what it means. Show it to you. Remigration is a European far-right concept of ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation of non-white minority populations. So, Department of Homeland Security is asking for remigration. And the president asked for remigration. What the hell is going on? Okay. No, people think that they're just saying stuff. They think they're saying stuff. They think they're just saying stuff. No, they're actually telling the truth. They're actually telling the truth. I just got the definition from there. I just got 3-4 different definitions so I could make sure that what I actually saw was the truth from the other definitions that I got. I don't have to explain that to you. That's all you got to do is go and read yourself. This is what this president advocated for: remigration. If a U.S. president calls for remigration, yeah, I need Wikipedia, heart, goofy. I need it, heart, goofy. If a U.S. president calls for remigration, that suggests support for a sweeping deportation campaign, which he has done. It may target not only undocumented immigrants, but also legal immigrants, or even citizens whose families came from other countries, depending on how immigrant background is defined. And this signals a shift away from the traditional immigration policy, okay, towards an aggressive ethno-nationalist approach where one belongs is defined less by legal status and more by perceived national ethnic identity. Wow. Because I would not have believed it if I would not have heard the president say remigration last year. And I was wondering why he said that. And then I thought about, didn't they say something about starting a remigration office? Didn't they say they were going to do that? And then I just left it alone. And it wasn't until today that I found out that this DHS, Department of Homeland Security, posted on X, let remigration begin. So, remigration, I don't know whether they understand the concept of what they're using. I don't understand if they understand exactly what they're saying. It's criticized. This is very critical. And I don't even have to use that one. We could use any number of them. It doesn't matter. I'll get to this lady. I'll get to her next. Where's that? Oh, yeah. Get to this next. And I don't know whether they understand exactly what they're saying, right? I don't know. If they do, maybe they do. But we have to take them seriously, don't we? Because they said it. Because they said it. Okay? Hit the like, share, subscribe button. Yeah, that tells me everything, Saltwater. It tells me that you got your ass in here, so you go home. So, this signals a shift away from traditional immigration policy, right? So, why is this controversial? Because it's rooted in that far right radical ideology I was telling you all about earlier today. This is how I know that we're going in a far right radical direction, because the president was already saying fascist things. The president was already saying radical thing. I almost said the Yahtzee word, but I don't like saying the Yahtzee word. He's already in the position of going that far right radical way. This is a far right ethno-national ideology, remigration. It's called really ethnic cleansing, okay? Ethnic cleansing. The term is seen by many as a dog whistle using euphemistic language to sanitize that policy of forcing expulsion of people so it doesn't seem as though it's as extreme as it is. but it's very extreme. If you take away the rights of people who already have rights, you take away people, you just start expelling people from the country, even though they have been made citizens. This is your radical right agenda right here, right now. Now, we have this, what is this? A truth post from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I was one of only 16 members in the U.S. House of Representatives that voted no to speed up vetting and allow Afghans to be rushed into the country. She was one of the first ones to say no, right? So look at this right here. Look, President Trump, here's the stupid person who ushered in the unvetted Afghan militants. It's not only the left and Biden are at fault. Lindsey Graham. They, Afghan, need to stay. This will be their new home. We have a moral obligation to these people. So they trying to throw Lindsey Graham under the bus. They're saying, let's throw Lindsey Graham under the bus because Lindsey Graham helped usher in those Afghans, and we owe those Afghans places to stay. So this is the drumbeat. This is the excuse to throw people out of the United States. This is what they're starting to do. They're starting to build the case, right? Starting to build the case for them to throw out people who already have citizenship and people who are anchor babies. This is the way they're trying to get around that amendment. This is the way they're trying to do that, by saying, oh, it's a clear and present danger, so we have to get rid of the people. We have to do it. So we don't want to go through the courts, so we're going to do it this way. It's clear and present danger. So they're going to throw Lindsey Graham. Well, Lindsey Graham is thrown under the bus right here. Lindsey Graham, this will be their new home. We have a moral obligation to these people. They will make great citizens. Senator, you have American people, you have blood. You have blood on your hands. Shame on you. See this? This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the one who posted this. No, Paul Dans. Yeah, Paul Dans. But Donald Trump reposted it, or I don't understand how this True Social stuff works. So I don't understand how True Social works. But he posted it right after Marjorie Taylor Greene said she was one of the people who did not vote for this. So they're building a drumbeat towards getting rid of people. Seriously, right? Seriously getting rid of people. Donald Trump said, leading up to the election of last year, he said, remigration. He said the words remigration. This is how I got it. I looked at it and I remember hearing him say that. And then I remember reading about an office they were going to put together. Then I remember somebody said something today, and then I was like, oh, this is how they're going to try to do what they try to do and get rid of the people. Department of Homeland Security also posted. So because in Europe, remigration historically meant mass expulsion. Okay. Civil rights groups, immigrant advocacy groups criticize all of those kind of things. I don't know whether it's going to work here or not. I don't know whether all of that is going to work here or it's not going to work here. Okay. I hope it doesn't work here, because it will take us down a slippery slope where we're going to have problems here in the United States. Do you really want this to happen? What was those 7,000 or 7 million people? Okay. What was that? Okay. About the 7,000 people that did the walk, the No King. What was that about? If this was what the direction that we wanted to go in our country. Okay. Because the arguments are, oh, okay, they take our jobs, they drive down our money, they hurt working class people. They overload public services, housing, social welfare, all these things. These are all the arguments for immigrants not being here. Undermines the rule of law, punishes those who follows the rules, and gives leeway to the people who don't. threatens public safety, crime control, social stability. All of these things, these are arguments that are being made. Undercuts American workers. Okay. But all of these things are very simplified arguments. They are. And they treat immigration illegal or legal, however they want to do it, like a zero-sum game, like, hey, jobs, wages, services, etc. This is crazy. Immigration on wages and jobs, all of that is more nuanced. How are you going to get rid of all of these people in this country? Why would you want to? Unless you have an agenda and you're afraid that you're becoming less than. Rich white folks only. That's wild to me. I meant to play this video. I wanted to play this video. This is wild. And I always have said it's against the rich. It's the rich against the poor. I just don't understand why people think it's anything other than the rich against the poor. And we got people fighting and fighting and fighting. I mean, I wanted to play this. I don't know why I wanted to play this, but I wanted to play this. And this is the one.
Please help me make sense of this. I'm going to try to keep my composure and not curse. Please help me understand. So, you're okay with your tax dollars going to a foreign country so that their citizens, all of their citizens, every single one, has free healthcare, free housing, free education, monthly payments to support their children. Their children get monthly payments from the government into a savings account. But what you do have a problem with is our own American citizens going hungry because you don't want your tax dollars going to people who can't afford food. Food. And healthcare. So we're going to have people hungry and dying in our country. So American. So American. But you're okay with sending money to a foreign country so that their citizens can live the life. You're okay with that. I don't hear you talking about that, though. Because I think that that's just the hatred in your heart speaking. Because logically, that makes no fucking sense. It's stupid. It's fucking dumb for you to even think that way. And to be honest with you, I think your breath stinks. Because all you do is talk shit out of your mouth all fucking day. Oh. All day. That's all you do. And you sound ridiculous.
Speaking. Black women in labor are ignored. People with sickle cell are accused of faking. Patients are suffering because the system doesn't believe us. Share this because pain doesn't change based on skin color.
The easiest way that I think the right has figured how you get there is that you keep the big class of people who could really fight you because they have the numbers, and I mean white people. You keep them on your side while giving them nothing economically. You offer them nothing. But what you offer them is whiteness. You say you get to be white, which means you're better than the blacks. You get nothing else. You get no money. We'll take your farms. Tariffs will destroy your lives. Everything gets destroyed. But you stay with us because we're white. You're white and we're white. And that's what we have in common. But in fact, you had people in the past like Fred Hampton that were trying, and King at the end, were saying to white working class, white poor folks, saying, hey, you know what we have in common? We're broke.
Right.
You're broke. The
Right.
Latinos are broke. Them Asians in Chinatown are broke. What if we all got together? That's the most dangerous kind of politics. It's what Mamdani is doing. If you can get to people and say, put aside the white thing for just a hot second and think about what you have. You had a 400-year head start
Right.
on these blacks and you still poor.
Yeah.
Make that make sense to yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe think about a different kind of politics where you really do vote your pocketbook, not your color.
Right.
If that ever happened, no Republican would win ever again. And they know that. So they keep the racism going. They keep the hate going. It's very useful.
We have major news right now that could fundamentally change what it means to be an American citizen. Donald Trump is officially calling for the denaturalization of migrants currently living in the United States who, quote, undermine domestic tranquility. This is a direct quote coming from the former president in his latest Truth Social post, the same post where he attacked Governor Tim Walz using a slur. But while the insults are grabbing the headlines, it is that specific policy proposal that should really stand out to everyone watching. Here's the reality of the situation. Denaturalization is the extreme legal process where the U.S. government strips citizenship from someone who is already a naturalized American citizen. Right now, there is a very small, strict set of circumstances in which this can occur, usually involving serious fraud. But undermining domestic tranquility, that is not a legal standard. It has never been used in any law or in any court. It does not have a definition. Essentially, it allows for a subjective interpretation by the executive branch regarding who gets to keep their rights and who doesn't. We are looking at a scenario where a naturalized parent or spouse.
Good day to you. I just want to quickly respond with these following steps. Withdraw all African American ambassadors. Ask them to leave within 24 hours in all African countries. Ban all American goods and products. It is very, very important. Ban all American goods.
Are they starting to burn American products? Are they starting to get rid of our stuff overseas because of the things that are happening with this far-right radical administration? Because of this radical administration, are we starting to see the cracks in these so-called friendships that Donald Trump says he's fostering? Wow.
Supporter in Africa must renounce their support for Donald Trump within 24 hours, or they will be arrested and detained. All African countries should break diplomatic ties with America. It is that simple. I won't repeat this message, but enough is enough. Donald Trump and America can keep their green card. We don't need it. We are self-sufficient in Africa. What we require is good, effective leadership, and we will get there. Thank you very much for this information.
So I don't know if you guys realize this yet, but the concept of remigration is about to become incredibly common in the West. It's a term that's already pretty commonly used in chronically online political circles, but it's about to hit the normies lexicon. Because as everybody knows, what the United States of America does at official capacity becomes the conversation globally. If you're unaware as to what remigration means, well, it's essentially a term that means migrants going back to their country of origin. Depending on where you land politically, this term can mean something very different to you and to the next guy. I've been talking about unethical immigration. I've been talking about these terms for a long time, but now that the Department of Homeland Security, the President of the United States, has started using it pretty openly, it's going to become common. And I hate to break it to everybody, but this didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen in a vacuum. This isn't because of evil racism or whatever. It's a reaction to unethical immigration. Yes, bad people are going to use it for bad purposes, but to be honest with you, you can't have widespread, unchecked, unethical immigration and not expect some level of pushback.
He sure wouldn't have loved you. He wouldn't have loved you. I know that much. This is the young Republican leader who left this lovely message in that leaked signal chat, by the way. Let's talk about a term called remigrate. Now, kid, I don't know where your mom and dad are from, but I know damn well that when Homeland Security says remigrate, they're talking about you. And don't let any Republican try and tell you that this is just remigration in like the scientific sense. Remigration applies to ducks and geese too, flying south for the winter. No, what they mean is the mass deportation of non-white immigrants and their descendants to their place.
And their descendants. And their descendants, even if those descendants are white. And those descendants, even if those descendants are white. And those descendants, even if those descendants are white. Woo! So you gonna get. So they talking about sending back everybody that is. If your parents were immigrants, you gonna be kicked out too. Afghan, Somali, Mexican, Irish, Italian, whatever the fuck. If you ain't blonde haired, blue eyed, you getting kicked the fuck out of here. He said ethnic cleansing. Y'all see them words behind her head? Far right proposal of ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation of non-white immigrants. That means you Cuban people. That means you Venezuelan people. That means you Italian people. That means you Russian people. That means you So he gonna start taking away your citizenships. They gonna start taking away if you from Ukraine, Russia, probably Italy too. Who knows? If you don't look blonde hair, blue eye. It says ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation of non-white immigrants and their descendants, which means if you have citizenship, they're going to say bye-bye to you too. Green cards, temporary visa, just became a citizen. Just crazy. So anybody that has a parent that is an immigrant, I would definitely worry about a parent if I'm an immigrant. I would definitely worry about a parent if they were an immigrant. Afghan. First generation. You were born here, but they were from Afghan. You were born here, but they were from Italy. You were born here, but they were from Ukraine. You were born here, but you were from Mexico. You were born here, but you were from I don't know. This is what they talking about. Because you cannot take it for granted, because a lot of Mexicans and Canadians and all them people, they took it for granted. They took it for granted that they weren't talking about them. Just because you're from Europe, no. Just because your parents are from Europe doesn't necessarily mean you're immune to not getting thrown out. Just because you're not, that doesn't mean you're immune to the getting thrown out. He said he is revoking people's status of becoming illegal or legal. So if I was somebody that was from Ukraine and my parents were from Ukraine and they were illegal immigrants, but they became naturalized citizens or whatever, and I was born after they got here, I would be concerned too. Not saying that they're going to do that. I'm just saying, read what this remigration. The Department of Homeland Security said remigration. The president said remigration is a far-right proposal of ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation of non-white immigrants and their descendants. What does that say to y'all? Wait a minute. You all thought that a lot of y'all thought Donald Trump wasn't going to do what he halfway did, but he did it anyway. What makes you think he ain't going to do it this way either? Just crazy. Just crazy that people think that this is a joke. You know how you get that spidey sense? This is going to go too far. With this radical right Republican administration, this is going to go far. This is going to go too far. It's just going to go too far. What does the Homeland, didn't y'all see what I, wait a minute. Didn't you see this Remigration? Didn't y'all see that? I know I showed it to y'all. I know that I showed it to y'all. I know when I showed it to y'all, y'all saw it. I know that you saw it. Okay? I know you saw it. When I showed it, I know you did. Because I put it right there in front of you. Look. Hold on. Right there. Hold on. The stakes have never been higher, and the goal has never been more clear. Remigration now. Remigration now. Homeland Security.
So I think young Republican leader on the list for remigration, from the looks of it, for no particular reason. Let's talk about how crazy it would be, for example, to be a white man in America who marries a Latino woman, has Latino children,
and then all of y'all got to go back. All of y'all going back. Your wife and your kids are going back. This shit ain't funny.
has Latino in-laws, learns how to speak Spanish because they want to feel and sound more like a Spanish speaker and a Latino in front of their Latino in-laws, and then proceeds to vote for Donald Trump 3 times in a row, knowing that eventually he wanted to deport every Latino immigrant in this country and their descendants. If you didn't notice, part of that remigration movement that started in Europe also has a contingency of how assimilated you are into European societies. And that's the reason why Cuban Americans are so hell-bent on assimilating into white American culture, because they think it's going to shield them or save them. And I will say here for the record, I don't think how well you're assimilated in the end is going to mean jack shit.
Jack shit, jack shit, jack shit. Jack shit. No, Angel, you're just dumb. I showed you what the Department of Homeland Security just said. Just tweeted out, remigration. Go look up the definition, you smart people. Go look it up. What does it mean? It means the deportation of people who are citizens and their descendants. Wow. Wow. See, they don't give a damn unless it affects them.
When they finally decide to denaturalize you and proclaim that your Cuban refugee status is no longer valid, they'll then take the opportunity to use that as an excuse to say that the citizenship of your child who was born in the United States is now illegitimate. I'm not giving the Trump administration the benefit of the doubt here. If they're tweeting re-migrate, they mean exactly what you think they mean.
Hell fucking yeah. And that's why the bells need to be fucking rung. The bells need to be fucking rung. I don't have any foreign relatives. I don't have no foreign relatives, so it's not going to concern me.
He sure wouldn't have loved you. He wouldn't have loved you. I know that much. This is the young Republican leader who left this lovely message in that leaked signal chat, by the way. Let's talk about a term called remigrate. Now, kid, I don't know where your mom and dad are from, but I know damn well that when Homeland Security says remigrate, they're talking about you. And don't let any Republican try and tell you that this is just remigrate. Who marries a Latino woman, has Latino status is no longer valid, they'll then take the opportunity to use that as an excuse to say that the citizenship of your child who was born in the United States is now illegitimate. I'm not giving the Trump administration the benefit of the doubt here. If they're tweeting re-migrate, They mean exactly what you think they mean.
Last week on Truth Social, Trump said that they're going to start implementing a remigration plan, which is an actual plan proposed by far-right parties in Europe forcing people to return to their country of origin. You might think, oh, that just sounds like deportation. But there is one big difference. Deportation focuses on removing the lawbreakers. Now, it's been a little arbitrary recently because the state gets to decide what the law is and who's breaking it, but that's the idea. Remigration isn't concerned about that. They don't care about the lawbreakers. What they care about is removing outsiders, even if they are a natural-born citizen.
Y'all didn't hear that? Did you hear that? It's removing the outsiders, even if they're natural-born citizens. That is what remigration is. Remigration. They're saying remigration, not sending back the people who are breaking the law. They're not saying that. They're saying remigration, as in putting people who are natural-born citizens out the country and their kids. Wow. Of course you don't care. It don't affect you.
Right parties have used the term remigration to target non-Westerners, mostly Muslims and black people. So Trump using the term remigration is purposeful. It's deliberate. Him using that term shows that they're no longer going to be concerned with removing just non-citizens.
Today, the Department of Homeland Security announced it would take on that review of Afghan immigrants. And in a separate, more sweeping step, the Customs and Immigration Service announced a full-scale, rigorous re-examination of every green card for every alien from every country of concern. Afghanistan is among 19 countries on that list.
We must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country.
Although the shooting suspect was granted asylum in April under the Trump administration, the White House rejects responsibility. An official said, regardless of asylum status, this monster would not have been removed due to his parole status granted by Joe Biden. Former President Biden denounced the violence, adding, "We are praying for the service members and their families." President Trump is mobilizing more guardsmen to Washington, another 500 to the 2,000 plus currently in the Capitol. Legal challenges to guard deployments continue, while D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser opposed it from the start, a view reflected in her comments today.
Somebody drove across the country, came to Washington, D.C. to attack America. That person will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. These young people should be at home in West Virginia with their families.
Now, there's a lot to pay attention to with everything going on, but there's something I think many folks missed, and it's one of the more shocking and ominous things to come out of the White House. And it's embodied in a single word: remigration. Most probably figured it was another one of Trump's made-up words. But as the ICE Gestapo were trying to arrest elementary school children, detain Democrat senators, and round up anyone from the Latino community, Trump said this: all of them have to go home, as do countless other illegals and criminals who will turn us into a bankrupt third world nation. America was invaded and occupied. I'm reversing the invasion. It's called remigration. So what's remigration? Well, it's
I knew I heard him say remigration at some point. He said remigration. And you need to look up what remigration means. It means more than just getting rid of the people who have committed crimes. It means more than that.
a concept born in the far-right circles in Europe, and it's real extreme white nationalism stuff, and something that probably had its initial origins in America. See, back during the abolitionist movement, there were some who believed the best thing was to have fewer black people around. Yes, let's free the enslaved, but then they wanted to send them back to Africa, or really anywhere but here, and that was all black people. And President Abraham Lincoln initially supported the idea as well. But here's what you need to understand about remigration. This is not just about sending people who migrated to America, particularly those that Trump says are criminals and illegal, but anyone who is not white, regardless.
Anyone who is not white. Anyone who is not white. That is what remigration means. Anybody who is not white. Pure white. Pure white. Y'all hit the like button. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We have content like this every day.
Of their legal status. So if you were born here and your family has been here for generations, if you're not white, remigration means you need to go. Make America great again is truly make America white again, and Trump's Truth Social post was a coded message to his base, using the language of white supremacy on what the real goal is: remigration.
A new Wired article that tells us about remigration. Remigration, a far-right European plan to expel minorities and immigrants from Western nations, may soon be a dedicated office following a Trump administration reorganization of the State Department. And it may already be happening in the U.S. So that comes out, and then boom, right on cue, little Marco. The Office of Remigration will serve as the Bureau of Population Refugees and Migration Hub for immigration issues and repatriation tracking, the document reads. It will provide a policy platform for interagency coordination with DHS and other agencies on removals, repatriations, and for interagency policy to advance the president's migration agenda, and on and on and on. But I'm just like, Marco Rubio's parents were immigrants. He is now running the State Department at the behest of Big Balls, who Elon Musk appointed. And this is, it is so World War II dystopian to me to see that they're taking all these funds and all these efforts into getting out immigrants from this country when we have actual real problems. But they've convinced themselves that there really is this huge 20 open borders and all these migrants are murderers. And I'm like, you're pardoning more criminals than you're locking up. You're separating families. You're sending U.S. citizens that are children to other countries that need cancer treatment. You are not human.
This shit is wild. This shit is wild. And there's no pushback to it. There's no pushback to it. The president said it. The president said remigration. Sure I am. Sure I'm a racist. Y'all goofy, I swear. People put it right in front of your face and you still say, I'm making stuff up. How am I making stuff up? Your president said remigration. Your DHS said remigration. I read the definition to you 2 or 3 times. Now I'm a racist channel because I said that? Y'all need to grow up. That's the problem. Just because somebody mentions race doesn't mean they're racist. Y'all really, really, really need to grow up and figure out that this is a far-right administration and they're doing far-right things that are against the American people. Far-right things. And this is a far-right criminal administration.
I hate it.
They ran on this, Pumps. They ran on the demonization and the dehumanization of immigrants. They ran on this and they won. And they won because there is a huge anti-immigrant backlash, not just in the United States, but in other countries as well. But what is interesting that is happening right now is as the world sees what's happening in the United States, there has been a Trump bump nationally to the opposite effect. All of these far right-wing style candidates since Trump's victory are getting their asses beat because it sounds fun and everybody gets stuck in.
Yeah, it sounds fun. It sounds great. Get rid of all the deportation people. But the American people are waking up and saying, we don't want this kind of trash. We don't want this kind of trash. This is a far right radical administration that we do not want. We do not want what this president is selling. We do not want this far right agenda that he is pushing. This throwing and if he starts to throw out natural born citizens, this is crazy. No, they didn't. We didn't vote for him to throw out natural born citizens and their descendants. We didn't vote for that. We didn't vote for them running into people's houses, dragging people out of cars, dragging people out of parties, dragging kids away from their parents. We didn't vote for that.
Some silo on the internet where they're beating up on people with brown skin. But then when they see it on full display in the United States of America, you have the decent people the thinkers, the people with real morals, with real convictions, with a real spine saying, no, we're not doing this. And so it surprises me zero that this is what they're doing. They campaigned on this. You have tens of millions of Americans that like the cruelty of this. They like it. It is exciting for them. Fox News talks.
They like the cruelty of it. They like the cruelty of it. So basically what she's saying is some of y'all are, let's not say that. You like the cruelty of it. Just get them out of here. We don't care how we do it. Just get them out of here. Take them away from their babies. Drag them away from their family. Drag them away from everything they know. Just get them all out of there.
You know, shows.
You guys, you know that the insults just bounce off. I'm Teflon, right? You do know that, right? Some of y'all dumb enough to be saying them. You do know that, right? I'm Teflon, right?
The caravans, they show the little kids going to represent themselves in court. And all of these MAGA Christians, they like it. There is a cruelty to this entire movement. And the world where the MAGA Christians, the Christian nationalists, and these corrupt autocrats are combining is a cancer in this country. And if the Democrats don't get their messaging together and quit pussyfooting around and start attacking these people nonstop all day, every day in a unified front, they will continue to keep moving the goalposts and moving the goalposts and moving the goalposts. And I don't know if there will be a midterms, and I'm not being hyperbolic.
No, I wish you were being hyperbolic, but I've thought the same thing.
This is absolutely chilling. The official Department of Homeland Security account just crossed a major line. They tweeted out one single word saying remigrate, but this speaks volumes about their agenda. That is a term used by these people which means ethnic cleansing. That describes the systematic violence aimed at eliminating people based on perceived ethnicity, race, and culture. The fact that this came from an official U.S. government account should terrify every single person in this country. Remigration isn't just some policy term, it's a direct nod to extremist rhetoric, deeply rooted in 1930s Germany and ethno-nationalist movements in Europe. It's a word that may sound harmless to many people, but it carries the same genocidal undertones as ethnic cleansing. When a government agency echoes that type of language, it's not a mistake, it's a signal that we all have to take seriously. This really shows how normalized fascist language has become in mainstream politics because of the MAGA movement. 10 years ago, this would have been unthinkable coming from an official U.S. agency, but now it's being tweeted out without apology or context. The entire remigration movement is built on fear. Fear of diversity, fear of progress, fear of equality. It blames minorities, marginalized groups, and immigrants for the failures of leadership and policy. This is no longer about border security or law enforcement. It's about power through division.
The reason immigration reform died wasn't just because of one party. It's because people were nervous about a populism that started to emerge. My view is that we are a land of immigrants, and we ought to recognize that. As a matter of fact, I believe America's soul is rejuvenated when people come to our country and work hard to realize dreams. There is an orderly way to have immigration, and that is to recognize people are coming here to do jobs Americans aren't doing, or are not capable of doing, or unwilling to do. And we ought to have a process that enables people to come and do those jobs. It's good for our economy. I think it's, and I think it prevents people from having to sneak in. There are laborers who do jobs people won't do, but there are also incredibly bright students who come, and I think it is a foolhardy policy to limit the number of workers that could contribute, for example, to the productivity of the United States in the internet world. I do believe there will be a rational immigration policy eventually passed. I think there's going to have to be some time. What's interesting about our country, if you study history, is that there are some isms that occasionally pop up. One is isolationism, and its evil twin protectionism, and its evil triplet nativism. So if you study the 20s, for example, there was an American First policy that said, who cares what happens in Europe? Well, what happened in Europe mattered eventually because of World War II. There was Smoot-Hawley, which was a part of an economic policy, which basically said we don't want trade. In other words, let's throw up barriers. And there was an immigration policy that I think during this period argued we had too many Jews and too many Italians, therefore we should have no immigrants. And my point to you is we've been through this kind of period of isolationism, protectionism, nativism. I'm a little concerned that we may be going through the same period. I hope that these isms pass, which would then allow for a more orderly look at immigration policy. But look, I was raised in Texas, and you know, there's a lot of focus on the Hispanic population. I mean, if you're raised in Texas, you understand what it means to interface with Mexican Americans who are Texan, and you realize that we share the same values: faith, family, you know, hard work, commitment to service, and I think we ought to welcome people from different cultures to America. The great thing about America is we ought to be confident in knowing that everybody becomes an American, and we share the same value system. In other words, there's great capacity for our society to assimilate people.
Breaking news.
I am really disappointed in this country's leaders and this team, because we're heading down this far right radical path. It feels like things are becoming out of control. Mass deportation, this new remigration, starting in the office to put naturalized citizens out. Harsh policies that could uproot long-term residents go way beyond reasonable immigration enforcement. It just does. Instead of focusing on building our community, building our country, supporting the families, solving real problems that we got, our debt, people starving, this administration seems to be pushing this immigration thing. Why don't they recognize that this immigration thing is a losing issue? Why do you not recognize that this is a losing issue? Targeting innocent people just because of their background, that's not what America stands for. That's not what we stand for. It's time for all of us to stop and look around. Take a hard, long look about what's happening. You should be asking, do we really want to live in a country where our neighbors, friends, and people who are born here, growing up here, might get torn apart and thrown out the country? And I don't even understand why we have that attitude about immigrants anyway. It's not like they're taking our jobs. It's not like most of y'all run into these people every day where fear and suspicion take the place of our better angels. I just don't understand what's going on with this. And when I heard this remigration thing, I was like, remigration? They try to get rid of everybody. Mass deportation would cripple the long-term health of this country. We lose diversity, creativity, everyday contributions of people who build businesses, raise families, people whose value cannot be measured in dollars and cents. Repeated rounds of deportation strike fear, cause people to leave jobs that they shouldn't leave. Even if they have legal status, people may decide to get the fuck out, move, stop participating in the civil society out of anxiety, out of fear. People scared to leave their houses. That drains the human capital, reduces engagement in this country, and then hollows out the neighborhoods and regions over time. I don't understand why. I don't want to live nowhere where it's all black people. I don't want to live nowhere where it's all black people. I don't even think I would not vote for that, where I would just see all the same people. Just what if you walked in a room, walked around your country, and that's all it was, with blonde hair, blue eyes. You couldn't see nobody else. There would be no mixtures of anybody else. No dark-haired, green-eyed, no dark-haired, brown-eyed, no dark-haired. It would be with blonde hair, blue eyes. That's all you would see. Sooner or later, you get bored with that shit, and you go looking for some diversity in some capacity or form of another. Most people would. And this is what this president is proposing. This far-right radical administration is proposing. Remigration. Okay? Once you start down this path of deporting long-term residents, deporting people in your neighborhood, citizens, you're not just making the neighborhood suffer, individuals suffer. You're fucking up the economy, the trust. We're already on edge in this country. And yet now you want to start remigration. You do know those posts were done those posts happened this week, right? Wait a minute, when did that post happen? Yeah, you do know that post happened this week, right? Where the freaking Department of Homeland Security said remigration now. Where it said remigration now. That was today. I'm sorry, it was today. It won't let me. It said remigration now. Department of Homeland Security. What the hell is going on? Remigration. Y'all go look it up. Look up the definition. I don't. You don't have to believe me. Our Department of Homeland Security said they were going to do this. Our president said he wanted remigration. Our president said that. He wanted remigration. He said it in some kind of sweet tweet, speech, or something. He said it. Remigration. Our president said this. So you need to look up the word, what remigration means. What the hell are they talking about? Remigration. I don't need to look up anything. You need to look it up. I already looked it up. I already know what it said. Okay? I already know this is what it said. The Department of Homeland Security posted on X. Remigration now. Remigration is a form of ethnic cleansing to rid countries of people that are not white. That's what remigration is. What is the definition? It used to have a neutral meaning when a migrant moves again, often back to their own home country. But in modern political usage, especially among far-right extremists, nationalist groups, radical groups like this president, like this administration, it has become a euphemism for mass deportation or forced expulsion of immigrants and their descendants, often based on race, ethnicity, and cultural background. That's what that means. Okay? Remigration is not regular immigration. It's not regular immigration. It's different migration. It is a more extreme form of immigration. All I'm saying is it means you and if your mother or father came here and they became naturalized citizens, but they came from another country, they can be deported back to that country because he's snatching your papers away. He's snatching those back. If you're born in one of them Islamic countries or Somalia or Mexico, or I don't know where he said he's going to snatch your immigration papers back from. So I believe it. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe. We have content like this every day. I believe it because they said it. Donald Trump said it last year. Department of Homeland Security said it today. Just look up the definition of remigration. Look up the definition. Look at the videos of remigration. Remigration is an extreme form of deportation. It's an extreme form. It means people who have come here from a different country who became citizens, their citizenship can be revoked and their children will be considered illegal too. That's what remigration means. Cleansing the country of everybody who is not white. That's what that means. The president said it last year. The president said stopping deportations now. Department of Homeland Security said it today. Remigration, the word remigration. So I can't, you can believe me, or you can look it up yourself. I didn't say it. I didn't say any of that. I am just repeating what they said. But a lot of people don't pay attention to what's being said. That's wild. It's wild. And as I stated, don't believe me. Go look it up. Go look it up. Go look it up. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, said remigration. The president said remigration, which basically means you're eliminating everybody who's not white from the country. But it is what it is. You all hit the like, share, subscribe. We have this content every day. We hear things, rumors, then we come out and then we do a little research and find out, yes, it was true. I heard him say remigration last year, but I really didn't pay attention to it until somebody said something today. And I was like, he means, see, he would have said immigration. He would have said deportation if he meant deportation. But he didn't say deportation. Homeland Security would have said, start the deportations now. But the deportation, he didn't say that. They didn't say that. They said remigration. Remigration. But then it is what it is. They said remigration. It is what it is. Hey, I don't have an immigrant that was a parent. Some of you guys have immigrants that are parents. You need to be looking up what he means by immigrants being from wherever, where immigrants being sent back to their homeland. You all need to be looking that up. I don't need to be looking that up. I looked it up, so I understand exactly what he said, exactly what the Department of Homeland said, exactly what remigration means. Remigration. But it is what it is. You all hit the like, share, subscribe. We have this content every day. We will be back tomorrow with our regularly scheduled program, which was systematic racism. We all have a part in systematic racism. But hey, we just gonna have the same going back and forth. I can't go back and forth with people who don't do research, who don't want to understand. I'm not saying anything. I'm just stating the facts. He says, Urban Shadow says, your facts are inaccurate and you are ignorant as fuck. So what facts are inaccurate, Urban Shadow? DHS said remigration now. Donald Trump said remigration last year. Look up the definition of remigration. So where exactly did I say something wrong? Okay. Goofy. Simple. When people tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the facts. You don't have to believe me. I know what you can see. Are you blind? So you should be able to see what the DHS said. Are you blind? So then you can go back and see what Donald Trump said. Are you blind? Then you can go and read what remigration means. Are you blind? Then you can go and see what the people in Europe said remigration is. Are you blind? Why get on here and say I'm saying the wrong thing or I'm not stating facts when these are facts that have already been said? These are facts. Okay. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. I can't argue with dummies. I just can't do that. I can't do that. Nobody who wants to do fact. Yeah, it's a bunch of weirdos in here, T-ism. A bunch of weirdos. Weirdos who don't want to research. Go look up what remigration means. Don't believe me? Just go look up remigration. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do whatever you got to do. We will be back here tomorrow. We have content like this every day. Sure, I'm racist as hell. I am racist as hell. Just dumb. Just dumb. Just, I can't do it. I can't do the slow shit. I can't.